The necklace. To pay off their debt, the Loisels fire their servant and move into a small apartment. Mathilde goes to work as a maid. She washes dishes and does laundry. The hard work makes her skin rough and red like every other poor working woman's. She soon loses her beautiful and youthful looks. Every now and then, Mathilde remembers that dazzling night. She misses her old life before she lost the necklace. This difficult life of poverty lasts 10 years until every franc has been paid off. One day, Mathilde heads outside for a walk. She sees Madame Forestier. She still looks young and pretty. Mathilde finally decides to tell Madame Forestier the truth. She admits that she lost the necklace and had to spend 36,000 francs to replace it. Madame Forestier is shocked. She says that her necklace was actually an imitation, not made of real diamonds. It was worth only 500 francs at most.
Today's warm-up quiz is, the science project took a lot of time, but it was worth blank because we learned so much. A. To do. B. Doing. C. Did. D. Do.
You have 15 seconds to think about it. Time's up.
Hey everyone, welcome back to English for You. I'm Adam.
And I'm Elsie.
So Elsie, before we recap what we've just read, have you ever had one of those moments when you're feeling great, everything's going well, and then boom, something
Oh, you scared me.
goes wrong?
Absolutely. It's like when you think you've got everything figured out, but life surprises you.
Exactly. And that's kind of what's happening to Mathilde in the story. She's having the best night of her life at this fancy party, looking amazing, getting all this attention, and then snap, her beautiful necklace disappears.
Yeah, and they search everywhere for it. They check their pockets, the streets, and even the carriage company, but it's nowhere to be found.
And then they have to replace it. And it's not just any necklace. It costs a whopping 36,000 francs, which is a lot of money back then. They use all their savings and probably have to even borrow money to pay for it.
Crazy, right? But luckily for you, I don't like jewelry or rings that much.
I know, that's true. I'm glad about that. But let's continue our story. Maybe there will still be a happy ending. Right now, it's a little bit sad, but maybe there will be a positive note. Let's get into it, everyone. Starting off, it says, to pay off their debts, the Loisels fire their servant and move into a small apartment. And there we see the phrase, pay something off, which is to pay back money that you owe. An example would be, it took him 5 years to pay his student loans off. And there we see debt, which is a noun. It's the money or the amount of money someone owes. So an example would be, he worked hard to pay off the debt from his credit card.
Pay something off 是清偿或者是还清债务。那债务欠款这个名词就是 debt， 好，字尾的 b 不发音 debt。Pay off one's debts， 还清某人的债务。那如果是某人欠下巨额的债务，我们可以说 somebody's deep in debt。那为了还清债务呢，他们夫妇就辞退了佣人，搬进了一间小公寓里头。
Yeah, and speaking as an American, I have 2 sisters, and I know when I talk to them on the phone, I say, hey, how things are going? You know, she's like, oh, everything is so expensive in America. I'm probably going to go in debt just going to the supermarket.
Oh, they probably will be broke.
Right. And that's the thing with Mathilde. So back then, everyone, you have to understand, this is over 100 years ago. And back then, a lot of women didn't work jobs. And so it was seen as a lower class thing to work as a job. So they had a servant, they had to fire the servant. And what's next for Mathilde? It says, Mathilde goes to work as a maid. She washes dishes and does laundry. And there we see the word maid, which is a woman employed to help with cleaning and household work. So an example would be, the maid cleaned the house every Tuesday and Thursday. Another word we see in that sentence is laundry, which is a noun. It's the clothes or linens that need to be washed or have been washed. An example would be, please do the laundry today. We don't have any clean clothes.
Yeah, so washing dishes and doing laundry are the two things you like to do, right, Adam?
Oh, yeah, it's my favorite thing. It's the two things that you never do. Maybe I need to get myself a maid.
Maid 这个名词呢，就是女佣或是女仆，所以 Mathilde 她就变成了女佣，开始过着洗碗啦、洗衣的劳苦生活。那我们说到洗衣是 does laundry 或是 do laundry， 为什么呢？因为 laundry 这个字是待洗的衣服或是洗好的衣服。好，那如果是洗好的衣服的话，你还要把它晒起来，对不对？ You hang up the laundry， 或者是晒完收进来，你要折衣服 You fold the laundry.
Exactly. And this is not easy work back then. We don't have all the things that we have now. We don't have washing machines and things like that. So, is it hard for Mathilde? We're going to find out. It says, the hard work makes her skin rough and red like every other poor working woman's. Oh no, so it makes her skin rough. And we see rough as an adjective. It's having a texture that isn't smooth or soft. So an example would be, the surface of the rock was rough and it hurt to touch it.
Rough 这个形容词是粗糙的，可以用来形容比如说 hands, rough hands, 粗糙的手。Rough skin 粗糙的皮肤，或是 a rough texture 指的就是粗糙的质地。那长期的辛劳使得她的皮肤变得粗糙泛红，与其他穷苦的劳动妇女是一样的。
So women don't really want rough things, right? You don't want rough hands as a woman, would you say, Elsie?
No, I wouldn't. Or rough skin, or rough hands, or rough
face.
Yeah.
You don't want a rough face? All right. Well, it says, she soon loses her beautiful and youthful looks. Every now and then, Mathilde remembers that dazzling night. And there we see the phrase, everyone, every now and then, which means occasionally or from time to time. An example would be, every now and then, we like to go for a walk in the park.
好，我们首先看到的形容词 youthful， 好，它是年轻的，前面的 youth Y-O-U-T-H youth 是青春名词，加上 F-U-L 年轻的 youthful。那再来还有一个片语是 every now and then 是有时候不时的，还有一个用来形容那天晚上的形容词 dazzling 指的是令人赞叹的，所以她的美丽跟青春不久之后就消逝了。而 Mathilde 偶尔还是会回想起那个令人炫目的夜晚。
I could say, from every now and then, I miss my youthful looks.
Wow, so you used every now and then, and you also used youthful.
Bingo.
Good sentence.
All right, jumping back to our article, it says, she misses her old life before she lost the necklace. This difficult life of poverty lasts 10 years until every franc has been paid off. And there we see, everyone, the noun poverty. Poverty is the state of being very poor. So an example would be, many people in the world live in poverty and don't have enough food.
Poverty 这个名词是贫困或是贫穷，它是一个不可数名词哦。所以呢，我们看到的 live in poverty， 那就是过着贫困的生活。所以我们的 Mathilde 她怀念那段在项链遗失之前的生活。这样子现在这么样贫苦艰辛的日子就持续了10年这么久，直到每一分法郎都还清为止。
Okay, so I'm hoping that the story's going to turn around, that maybe she's going to work, and then she's going to pay off this necklace, and then maybe she wins the lottery, and then they live happily ever after. Let's see if that happens. Continuing, everyone, it says, one day Mathilde heads outside for a walk. She sees Madame Forrester. She still looks young and pretty. Mathilde finally decides to tell Madame Forrester the truth.
Ooh. I wonder what the truth is.
That she lost the necklace, because remember, they didn't tell her that she lost it. They just gave her a new one.
Oh, or there was another truth that she was going to tell her. Let's find out.
Let's find out. She admits that she lost the necklace and had to spend 36,000 francs to replace it. Madame Forrester is shocked.
所以呢，我们来整理一下。刚刚说到有一天这个 Mathilde 她出门散步，她就看见了这个她原本借项链的夫人。那对方呢依然年轻美丽， Mathilde 就决定要向她坦诚一切。她就跟她说，她自己其实是弄丢了原本那条项链，还花了36000法郎来买一条新的来赔偿。那这个夫人呢感到相当的震惊。So, she was very shocked.So,
Elsie, what if you lost one of your friends' things that they let you borrow? What would you do?
I think I would tell them the truth.
So
that I lost it.
You would tell them right away you lost it.
And I'm very sorry about it, and I will try my best to, make them feel better.
Pay it back,
Yeah,
right?
or pay it back.
Okay, so you wouldn't lie and go sink all your money into something that's going to cost a lot, take out all the money of your savings account, buy them the same bag that you borrowed, hypothetically.
But if they told me that I had to pay it back, then I will.
Then you will, okay. But you think they'll be more understanding, the
Probably.
person? Yeah, okay.
What would you do?
I would probably do the same thing. I would say, hey, look, I lost whatever you let me borrow. I know it meant a lot to you, or maybe it didn't mean a lot to them because they let me borrow it. And I would do the same thing. I would either say, hey, I'll pay you back, but I can't pay you all at once, and kind of do it like that. I think that's the smart way to go. So Mathilde tells her the truth, right? She's like, hey, I lost your necklace. I'm so sorry. And what is Madame Forrester going to say? It says, she says that her necklace was actually an imitation, not made of real diamonds. It was worth only 500 francs at most.
What?
Right. And there we see it's only worth. The worth is the adjective, is to have a value in money. So an example would be, that antique car we saw yesterday was worth a lot of money because it was so old and rare.
Worth 这个形容词呢，指的是价值点点点的。那当我们用 be 动词带出 worth 以及一个金额的时候，表示值点点点，值多少钱，好，或是价值为点点点。那如果是 be worth doing something， 代表是某事是值得做的。For example, this movie is worth watching. 这部电影值得一看。所以同学们有想到吗？今天的 warm up quiz 当中的题目就是在考大家这个概念。我们的句子答案是 be doing， 然后放进去这句话就会是 The science project took a lot of time, but it was worth doing because we learned so much. 好，那因为呢这个事情是很值得做的，所以就算花很多时间还是 OK 的，还是值得的。所以答案就是 be doing。那另外当我们说 be worth it， 那就指的是值得的意思，像是呢 The hard work is worth it， 付出的努力是值得的。那还有这句话的重点 imitation， 好，这个名词是仿制品，那就是说那一条项链其实是仿制品，不是真的钻石。好，这个夫人就告诉了 Mathilde 这一个事实，而且她本来的那一条，好，就是仿冒品的那一条钻石项链，最多只值500法郎。
Oh, yeah, so she told him at most it's only worth 500 francs. And there we see the phrase at the most or at most, which is no more than the highest amount. So an example would be the meeting will take at most an hour, so we'll be done by 3 p.m.
At most 或是 at the most 指的是至多，那如果是至少的话，那就会是 at least. So if you were Madame Forrester, what would you do or say to Mathilde?
Ooh, if I were Madame Forrester, I would be filled with guilt and shock. I mean, I would say, oh, Mathilde, I had no idea. If you had only told me back then the necklace was fake, it wasn't worth more than 500 francs? Oh, you didn't have to suffer all those years.
Oh, that's exactly what I would tell her.
Right? You'd be like, I'm so sorry. I should have let you know that this was a fake.
Yeah.
But if you're letting someone borrow a necklace that looks like it has diamonds, you might want to tell them, hey,
don't worry about it. It's a fake.
It's a fake. Just wear it. All right. Well, how would you feel? You would feel what?
I would feel very, sorry about it.
All
to
right.
let her go through so much.
Right. I mean, I think this story teaches us a big lesson about, having things we want, things that we think are important or maybe not important. And that, everyone, leads us to our For You chat question of the day. It says, what do you think the main lesson of this story is?
I think the main lesson of this story is that sometimes we focus too much on material things, right?
Right, yeah.
Like looking rich or beautiful, and that can lead to bad decisions.
Yeah, for sure.
So Mathilde here wanted to impress people, but she ended up hurting herself and her husband because of it.
Yeah, exactly. And don't just forget her husband, her whole family.
Yeah, it shows us that what's important is not how we look, but what we have inside and the choices we make.
Nicely said. I agree with you 100%. And I think the main lesson of this story is that we shouldn't judge things by their appearance. She thought the necklace was very expensive, right? But it turned out to be fake. She worked really hard to replace it, and in the end, it was all for nothing. I think the meaning of this story is to teach us to really appreciate the things we have. Like I appreciate how I have a family with you and our cat Rambo.
Okay, so we all have to be very grateful.
Exactly.
喜欢今天的主题吗？你还可以到空中家教和真人老师互动练习哦。So for English for You, this is Elsie.
And I'm Adam, and we hope you enjoyed the story.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Vocabulary Review.
Debt. Tom worked 2 jobs to clear his debt from buying a new motorcycle last summer. Maid. A polite maid knocked on the door and asked if it was a good time to clean the hotel room. Laundry. After dinner, Carla sorted the laundry by color before she started the washing machine. Rough. The towel dried in the sun, and after that, it became rough and didn't feel nice anymore. Poverty. This area is experiencing terrible poverty. Many families can't even buy food. Worth. I paid 300,000 NT dollars for my car, but now it's worth much less than that because it's old.
智慧小补帖
Youthful. Dazzling. Imitation.